Hey guys, it's Tarot and Beyond. My name is Siobhan, and I am a psychic reader, Akashic reader, as well as an energy healer and channeler. So, in today's reading, inspired by one of the members, we are looking at positive past lives. Now, the reason I feel that this is such an appropriate topic is also because one of the most recent readings that I did, or sessions that I had with a client behind the scenes, was actually one where a positive past life was brought forward, actually 2 or 3 positive past lives. So, why I thought that this was important was, first of all, because I had that session. Second of all, because the member prompted me with that topic on their own. So it was a synchronicity. And then thirdly, because I'd never actually seen positive past lives in client sessions before. Usually what would happen is that somebody would come to me with an issue and we would look to the past lives to find where the root or the source of that issue may have originated. And so it was interesting for me to see these positive past lives, which I'd never really connected to with clients before, maybe sometimes with myself, but I think it's important that we look at them. So without further ado, we have the 3 cards that you see here to choose from. Group number 1 is Stand Your Ground, which is the 7 of Wands in the Psychic Tarot. Group number 2 is the Temptation card. This is the Devil card in this deck. And group number 3, we have Conflict and Defeat, the 5 of Swords. Or is this 5 of Wands? I guess this would be actually 5 of Wands, yeah, because the color's the same. Okay, so anyway, you got those 3 groups to choose from. If you feel called to more than one, feel free to watch more than one reading or all of them. Just take the messages from within that resonate with you and leave the rest. The timestamps are linked in the description box below, or you can use the chapters to jump ahead to your chosen reading or readings, and we'll see you there. All right, hi group number 1, welcome to your reading. So we're going to be looking at positive past lives and why this is important for you to know about this life. We're going to be going deeper into why it's important for you to know this and how you're meant to work with that energy in the extended reading, which will be available on the member side of the channel. So anyways, let's jump into things. You guys chose the 7 of Wands, Stand Your Ground. Okay, yeah, I'm getting warrior energy. A battle that you won, and not like a warrior on a battlefield, with bloodshed and all that. That wouldn't be very much of a positive life, in my opinion. But one, I'm hearing political battle. Okay, so this was actually a lifetime where I'm hearing lawyer. Okay, so you may have been a lawyer in that past life, group number 1. And in that lifetime, you had a lot of successful trials, is what I'm hearing. You were able to overcome great opposition. So you went up against, I'm hearing corporate lawyer. Okay, so you were up against certain corporations that were corrupt. Okay. I'm hearing something about the 50s, and I don't know if that's 1950s, 1850s, 1750s. Can we get clarification, Spirit? 1950s for some of you. They're telling me this is a large group of souls that's been drawn to group number 1. So 1950s is for some of you. If you were born after the 1950s, then it's going to be further back. But they keep telling me 1950s. Okay. So a lawyer in the 50s, whenever that was, and went up against some pretty major corporate giants and had some big wins, like big successes. Okay, let's get some tarot cards here as well to get some additional information on this positive past life. King of Rods. Yeah, I feel like you were able to, in that lifetime, really passionately argue a point. And the way that they're showing me this conductor is kind of like you being up in front of the jury and being the conductor of the orchestra. Like you weren't manipulating anything, but you were very much capable of persuading. It's like the power of persuasion. You were very good at getting your point across, doing it passionately because you weren't acting. This wasn't a game. It wasn't like you were trying to charm anyone through this silver tongue lawyer speak. It was very much something that you were driven and passionate about, and that translated well. So you definitely had this gift of communication, but it was more so even just like the fire behind your eyes is what they're showing me clairvoyantly. Like the fire behind your eyes is what people connected to the most. It wasn't even so much your words. It was they could see the passion in you. They could see the persistence as well, because you did not back down. You would not back down from a fight. You would not back down even if it seemed like you were going up, David against Goliath, this tiny independent corporate lawyer versus like these huge, or some kind of a lawyer that went up against these corporate lawyers or these big corporations. And I'm hearing too big to fail, like these big companies that were too big to fail, and you somehow managed to get a handle in there, or like get some footing to make a point that really actually proved true, and you won. King of Lightnings. I had a feeling this card was going to come out because I definitely feel like the gift of communication is part of this soul trajectory for you, group number 1. And I was feeling it from the passion, like the passion in your eyes here, but the King of Lightnings is about the voice. This is the King of Swords in this deck. So it's definitely about communication for you. But the passion behind that communication was really like the key to your success, is what I'm hearing. Princess of Blossoms. You may have been fighting on behalf of women. I heard somebody lost a daughter, and that's why you were so passionate about this, and you didn't want to back down because you were going up against this company, or these companies, multiple, at least one in which one of your clients lost a daughter, and you became, I'm hearing the word enraged. Okay, so you were enraged by what you heard about this and the cover-up that they tried to create, and you just went full steam ahead. I'm seeing actually somebody doing like mountains and mountains, piles and piles of research, tons of papers. Yeah, so the intelligence, like your intelligence in this past life and your skill, your knowledge level was very high. And your passion, your heart, and your drive were equally matching that, which was just really cool, I think, So you were able to create some really positive change. Number 11, Climax. This was the deck that Spirit called me to use. It's actually like a love deck, but we're using it in this past life reading. So love could be part of it, but the Climax, yeah, I feel like you were able to wrap things up in a very satisfying way when you were in court. And so you would bring things to this intentional climax, and it would really like hit home. When somebody says something and it just like rings through your entire body, and you get shivers, or you sit there dumbfounded for a second because you're like, holy shit, that was so profound. That's what I'm feeling here, group number 1. So yeah, this is pretty epic. And it feels to me very positive, because this is the type of energy that you can tap into. This is your past life. So you can tap into that. And if you're having troubles communicating something, setting a boundary, standing up for something you believe in, or standing up for someone else who has been, I'm hearing perpetrator, the word perpetrator, and injustice. Yeah, who has been put in a situation where a perpetrator has done something unjust to them. You can step up and defend on their behalf, or take a stand for something. That's really what I'm getting strongly here. Ace of Blossoms. I do feel like love was your guide. So you know how like lawyers get a really bad rap for being heartless and liars and very undiplomatically diplomatic kind of thing? I feel like you're the type of person, and in this past life, your credence was really like about the heart and compassion. So it's giving almost like environmental lawyer, or legal aid. You know what I mean? It's like being able to work with people who are the underdogs and really fighting for them, or fighting against a broken system to create some kind of change. balance. Yeah, that's the Justice card. Yeah, when we're talking about the law and courts and legal things, legal matters, the Justice card is bound to come out. So it's confirmation from Spirit here that, yeah, indeed, you were somebody who created a lot of balance in this lifetime through your capacity to communicate and to make change in this way. I'm hearing making waves. Yeah, like you made waves in this industry. People knew your name. Definitely. And I'm hearing like some people feared you because you were formidable, a formidable opponent. Like you didn't want to go up against so-and-so in the courts because you are probably going to have a hard time convincing the jury or the judge that your side is the true or like the one that needs to be listened to. So you have a very strong presence about you, group number one. And a lot of this was helping to create this balance. Queen of Lightnings. I love that we have counterparts here, King and Queen of Lightnings, because first of all, this is balance, right? It's like balanced masculine and feminine energy within you. I'm seeing a team that you also had. So it's not like you were doing this entirely alone. You had a team of people with you. And there was a lot of support there. In the particular lifetime that we're talking about here, I'm seeing a man. So this was a male incarnation, and that doesn't matter if you're male or female in this life. We bounce back and forth, or it varies from soul to soul. But there does tend to be oscillation between the two. And I'm seeing a loving wife that was very much on your side, would be in court for every proceeding, is what I just heard. Okay, so like she was there. Day or night, crack of dawn, always there in the pews or whatever you call them, like the seats behind. And she was always supporting you. And you two really had like this happy relationship is what I'm seeing, where the communication was very tete-a-tete. It was like you were able to verbally joust each other lovingly. And I think that's so cool. Like what they're showing me is this wife and husband at the dinner table having like a debate, but it's like an intellectually stimulating debate. And it's not, there's like no animosity. It's literally just because this is almost like foreplay. This is what it feels like. It's almost like foreplay of like stimulating each other's minds and getting a little hot under the collar because that passion comes through, and then being able to resolve it in the bedroom, that kind of thing. Hashtag climax. So it feels like very positive, healthy relationships, fulfilling job, successful career, Three of Lightnings. This card is the Three of Swords, which is usually quite a negative card about betrayal and heartbreak and pain. But I actually got this message about you went straight to the top. So I feel like this was actually other people projecting I'm hearing the word animosity, okay? People projecting their animosity toward you, especially people who were in the opponent's chair, you know? You had some haters. I'm just gonna say it like it is, group number one. You had some haters in that lifetime because you were oppositional, you were defiant, you didn't back down, you stood your ground, you spoke up, you didn't take it lying down. I hear that's what I heard. I'm not going to take it lying down. No, you of course were not going to take it lying down. You were going to step up, and you were going to step up where somebody else may not have. Yeah. So it did breed a little bit of animosity in people, but I see that you were really protected from that because you were all the way at the top. Like you're this shining light at the top, and there's these other people who are down there projecting their anger at you, but it can't touch you. It didn't touch you because you had peace in your heart, is what Spirit just said. You had peace in your heart. And if you have peace in your heart, even if people project anger and negative shit your way all day long, every day, it's not going to touch you because it doesn't have an in. You know, it's like there's no leak in the boat, and they can't, the water can't get in if there's no hole. Prince of Lightnings, all the lightnings, all the lightnings, happy family. Yeah. A son, I'm hearing. Okay. Oh, this comes later then. So we're kind of getting like the whole trajectory here of the lifetime. So you ended up having a son, little family. Yeah. And the son was very intelligent. He went to school to be a doctor, is what they just told me. And he studied really hard. He got top of his class. I'm hearing magna cum laude. What is that? Magna cum laude. They're just telling me it means top of the class. I'll have to look that up later. The Fools. The Fools. Yeah, I feel like I've heard magna cum laude before in, what is that movie? Oh my God, literally the movie that's coming to mind in reference to magna cum laude is Legally Blonde. So we're talking about lawyers and Legally Blonde comes up. Perfect. Classic. Yeah, that's where I've heard the term before. I think it's an American term. Anyway, so we have the Fool. And I feel like this lifetime was very liberating. You liberated a lot of people. Your relationship was very liberated. Like the dynamic, if this was like the 1950s, the dynamic between you and your wife was really progressive. It doesn't feel like your wife was just in the kitchen all the time and things like that. It was like very equal partnership is what it feels like. And then your son really went above and beyond is what I just heard. He went above and beyond in his life as well. And he ended up helping a lot of people too, being a doctor, a surgeon, actually. They're telling me brain surgeon? Really? He was a brain surgeon. Okay. So the son was a brain surgeon. Wow. Like early on. He's probably still alive today. If we're talking about the 1950s. Yeah, this must have been 1950s then. And he is still alive today. Alex something, they said. Alex who? I heard Alex Pendergast. I'm going to look that up. I have no idea if that's going to garner any results or what the heck this, but I'm curious, so we'll find out. So you had a lot of positive influence in other people's lives, and your own really reflected that, is what I'm seeing. You have the Four of Nuggets. Just a lot of stability, like white picket fence type of life, had everything physically that you needed, lots of savings in the bank. Yeah, going up against multi-million or billion-dollar companies. Yeah, you probably won some pretty big settlements there. And a lot of partnership, like the way they're holding hands here, just feels very stable, very secure, a very protected, I'm hearing well-nourished life. Okay, well-nourished life. Ooh. On the bottom, we have the Nine of Blossoms, Nine of Cups. Very happy. This is what we're talking about, like a positive past life. And this is what the Nine of Cups is. Hold on, let me just move things. Let me readjust a little bit so we get things in here. And then we also have the Ace of Lightnings, the Ace of Swords, so many swords. So definitely, it makes sense why being in legal would be the choice, because the swords are all about the mind, the intellect, and communication. So yes, that tracks nicely. And you did a very good job at it. Yeah, you were very diligent in your task, I'm hearing, very diligent in what you were all about and how you were able to help people. Can we just like put this here or something? I don't know. Yeah. So group number 1, this is a very happy life, happy life, happy wife, happy son, happy people all around. So I'm really excited to translate this message to you, or transmit this message to you. And we're going to go even deeper in the extended. So we're going to look at some oracle cards on how you're meant to use this lifetime now that it's brought to your awareness, or what you're meant to know about this, or how you can channel some of this energy into the now, into your present life. So if you would like to join me there, you can become a member if you aren't already. The link is in the description box below to join. And to those of you who are already members, we will see you over there on that side of the channel for the extended. Thank you so much for being here, guys. I hope you're enjoying the readings. I love you, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye. All right. Hi, group number 2. Welcome to your past life reading. I'm interested to see how this is a positive past life, since your indicator card is the Devil. And this is just what popped out. I didn't choose it like that. But yeah, so we're going to be looking at a positive past life, and we're going to go deeper into how and why this is important, how you can bring that into this current lifetime in the extended reading on the members side of the channel. So if you are interested in that, the information will be in the description box below to join. But anyway, group number 1, you have the Devil card, Temptation. Okay, so I actually am getting a message that this was 6 lifetimes ago. They just told me add 1 + 5. Okay, so 6 lifetimes ago. This was a lifetime where you found the key to resist temptation. Oh, okay. As soon as I start channeling, the answers come. Okay, so this was a lifetime where you resisted temptation successfully. They are really emphasizing the key in his hand here and the way that he's got that keyhole sort of imprint on his stomach, and that's the solar plexus area. And whenever I see addictions or patterns of addiction or addictive like things with clients, or even in my own life, or even in just like family and friends and stuff, it's always in the solar plexus. And that's right there on the body. So you managed to control your will, your empowerment. I'm seeing that you were really good at saying no, and I'm hearing the words self-regulation. So you had a good life, because you were able to restrain yourself. You were able to successfully, I'm hearing, pass the test. Okay, so it's like you set up a lot of hurdles for yourself in that lifetime around, can I say no to this? Can I remain in my integrity? Can I trust myself to have the free will and the control to not succumb to these dependencies or temptations or things that would ultimately be bad for me, but that may bring me temporary gratification, things like that. Okay, let's get some more information about this lifetime for you. Group number 2. What happened in this lifetime? 4 of blossoms, 4 of cups. In the traditional 4 of cups, there's a cup coming out of the sky being offered to this guy who has 3 in front of him, and he doesn't accept the 4th cup. And there's multiple reasons for that. But in this case, what I'm seeing again is like you were able to resist and say no to something that maybe at one time did have a hold on you. It's like maybe you were an alcoholic to begin with in that lifetime, or no, they're telling me you weren't an alcoholic, but you grew up in a family where there were alcoholics in that life. Oh, okay. Right. So being raised in an environment where there was alcoholism, there was a high probability that you would have gone down that route as well, but you didn't. And they're telling me that this was a successful, very positive life for you, because it's like you proved to yourself at soul level that you could break the pattern. It feels kind of like cycle breaker, curse breaker type of energy, where you're able to stop the family line deterioration through your choice to not participate in the same way or to not perpetuate the same patterns of the people that came before you. 9 of rods. Yeah, it's like you stopped the chain of events that would continue the path of this destruction. That's what they're showing me. It's almost like a gap that you created so that that pattern couldn't continue, like a line of dominoes, and then there's a space in between, and then it's actually, that's an image that they're showing me from a different card in a different deck, which we're not using today. But I think that card is in the Muse Tarot, and it's the 3 of Wands or Pentacles, I can't remember. But there's something about that image that they're showing me of the dominoes and the space in between. So this could be a synchronicity for some of you, or a confirmation of some kind. And you were able to stop that momentum. Now, the 9 of Rods also shows me that you were, that's so funny, pun intended. They said hell bent, and then I was like, hell bent and the devil? Ha 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 ha. Spirit has a really good sense of humor, and they use wordplay a lot. At least with me, they do. So you were hell-bent on not allowing this pattern to take over your life. And you went through a lot of things to, I guess, cultivate this strength within you. That's what I'm feeling. It's like this determination, this unwillingness to give up anytime that you were tested. You really kind of struggled, as is what they're showing me. Actually, it's like you struggled to say no, or you struggled to resist the patterns of conditioning that you were raised with, or you struggled to get past some of the environmental factors. But I'm seeing that you just didn't give up, and you just kept very determinedly forging your way forward in your own path and your own way. And I'm also hearing in your own time. So it feels like you gave yourself a lot of leeway in how you were going to go about things in that lifetime. You really just let yourself be, in a sense. But it's interesting because when we think about control and self-control, there's another word for it that I can't think of right now. Willpower. Thank you, Spirit. Willpower. Literally, like when we think about willpower, I think that we can equate this to always having the willpower to say no. And if we don't, then beating ourselves up for it. I think that was also a temptation that you managed to overcome in that past life that we're talking about here, group number 2, because I think you realized that if you beat yourself up, if you did that self-flagellation, let's say, for doing things that you perceived as wrong or that were indulgent in some way, you knew that would ultimately lead to those patterns cropping up again. So it's like basically the more that you tried to shame yourself. I'm getting something about religion here as well. They're showing me Catholic Church. Okay, so it's like you managed to break away from this like all or nothing mindset of sins and the holy path, and anything in between is you're going to hell. And you managed to kind of unpack some of that conditioning that led to a lot of alcoholism in your family. Irish Catholic could be significant here as for some people. And you came at it with, it feels more like self-compassion. If I had to quantify it, it feels like self-compassion, where you were able to say, it's okay if I make mistakes. I'm not going to let that stop me or halt my momentum. I'm going to learn as I go through trial and error. And I'm very determined to not repeat those patterns of the past. And I'm not going to let those same things that were around me in my childhood continue or repeat in that way. That's kind of the vibe I'm getting. 3 of nuggets. Okay. Queen of rods. I do see that you gave back a lot. They're showing me this energy or this image of a nun. So you may have been involved in the Catholic Church, and this may have been the way that you went about this, or this could have been a factor in some way. 5 of blossoms. That's the 5 of cups in this deck. Princess of rods. I do feel that in this lifetime that we're talking about, you had a lot of passion, and you were very fiery, like very strong-willed to begin with, very strong-willed. So that's why I think that you just needed a way to direct it. Like if you became obsessive about something, it could have gone the wrong way, and you could have become obsessive with something that was bad for you. And so you had to learn pretty early on how to control that. And I'm also hearing the word rage. So there may have been like anger, frustration, other dynamics that really tested your ability to control yourself compassionately. And what do I mean by that is like not stifling yourself or repressing things, but being able to consciously and intentionally work with yourself and whatever comes up in your humanness and be able to use that productively towards your growth. The next card we have is soulmates. And the World card. I was noticing that this was number 22 and then this is number 21. So this is an extra card in this particular deck, which is a love tarot deck. But this is the one that Spirit prompted me to use for this reading. And there's always a reason, whether it's the imagery or the energy of the deck itself, that is significant to the type of message that they want to bring through. 9 of lightnings, 9 of swords. I'm hearing overcoming blame. Like you managed to overcome blaming external factors or blaming, like any other people, your situation, your environment, your whatever it was. I'm even hearing blaming God. Like there was a lot of people who feared God in the society you lived in, but they also blamed God for a lot of things, like, oh, if something bad is happening to you, it's God's will, and you've done something bad to deserve it. It's very like, that's the vibe I'm getting from this lifetime. That was the mindset, and that's why this was such a positive life for you, not because of those things existing, but because you managed to thrive and really heal a lot of these things despite the environment that you were in, which is saying something. Like, that's really hard to do, to break away from a really indoctrinated sort of framework like that, especially at a societal or even global level, and to forge your own path because it feels right for you, rather than going with the status quo that shames or blames you for things. Like, it feels like, again, your will really prevailed in this lifetime. 5 of Lightnings. It may have led to some conflict, but I'm actually hearing overcoming conflict. Oh, okay. Yeah, you were able to overcome conflict by asserting what you believed, but not forcing it down others' throats, is what they're showing me. It was like you lived by example, or you basically just did your own thing. You didn't have to prove it to anyone. You didn't have to over-explain or justify your choices or your behaviors or your beliefs. It was more like, this works for me, and that's all I care about. And if that is inspiring to you, then that's fine, but that's really not my intention. I just want to be okay. I don't want to fall into those patterns that I clearly know don't work for me, and that I saw destroy the people that I loved or was around. So you overcame that. That's powerful. The mother could have been significant here, and I'm hearing divine mother. So in this potential like priest or being in a nunnery, something like that is kind of the vibe I'm getting. You may have really worshipped the divine mother, and maybe that's where the compassion came in. I think this is a female lifetime. I've kind of been getting both, and since we're reading for groups of people here, and these are general, I think it kind of goes both ways, or there's different lifetimes for each person, but we're just looking at like the general theme here. And the one I'm getting right now is female, but I did see a male as well. So yeah, there's something about the divine mother. We have the Hermit, the Seeker's card here in this deck, and the Lovers. Yeah, so I think celibacy was probably part of this lifetime, even though I feel like you still had love in your life. That's kind of the vibe I'm getting, group number 2, is that you still had love in your life, but, oh, look on the bottom, the High Priestess. Yeah, in this priesthood, but it was like nunnery, but it didn't feel quite right to say that. It was more like a priest, like high priestess type energy is what I was getting. This one card is kind of like sticking out. I can feel it. 7 of Nuggets. I just wanted to check what that was because I could feel it with my finger. I'll just put that there for now. Yeah, I feel like you maybe overcame, like, okay, let's say, for example, you were forced into the Catholic Church at a young age or something like that, and you were indoctrinated with those beliefs. In this example, you would have broken away from that, deconditioned yourself, and then found love or acceptance for your body and your sexuality and your connection, and like realized that that wasn't sinning if you did it in the right way for the right reasons. The other example is that maybe you went from a very promiscuous or alcohol-driven or fueled life to living in the priesthood or in the nunnery or whatever it was, being celibate, but again, doing it for the right reasons. So it's like 2 very different examples, but it's not about what we do in these lifetimes. It's why we're doing it and what that is aligned with. So in either example, if it was liberating for you, if that was freeing for you, then that's what unlocked the key to this divine will that you were able to express and to really cultivate and master. Actually, really, it feels like mastery to me in that lifetime. So you, either way, whichever example we're talking about here, you managed to nurture yourself. That's the compassion energy. Nurture your strengths, have compassion for your weaknesses, work with your weaknesses rather than against them, as other people that you saw in your environment worked against them and you were like, that doesn't work for me because I see it doesn't work for you. So I'm going to try something different. And I feel like you spent a lot of time alone contemplating these things, but then eventually you managed to come into harmony, you managed to come into balance with a soulmate, with a romantic partner, possibly becoming a mother, depending on the scenario or the situation. Or for others, it would have been the satisfaction of being like a holy mother, in the sense that all of humanity are your children, because I'm hearing God's children. Yeah, so there was a lot to do with religion in this lifetime, which now I can see why the devil card popped out, because that's, the idea. It's like God and the devil. So we're going to go deeper in the extended, and we're going to look at how you can take some of the core values of this lifetime, or what you learned there, what you managed to embody into this life, and how that's going to benefit you. We're going to go deeper into this lifetime as well and get additional details, more information, and things that may pertain to your embodiment in this lifetime, the current incarnation. So if you're interested in joining us there in the extended reading, you can do so by joining as a member. The link to join is in the description box below, and I hope to see you there. And if not, then we will see you in the next reading. Thank you for being here. I love you guys, and we'll see you there. Bye. All right. Hi, group number 3. Welcome to your reading. We're going to be looking at this past life for you and why this is important for you to know. We're going to go deeper on the extended reading on the member side of the channel into how you can integrate this past life or use this information, how you can incorporate some of these skills, talents, traits, or experiences in a positive way to further your soul evolution. If you're interested in joining there, I'll leave the information in the description box, or you can stick around till the end of this reading and I'll talk about it more. So group number 3, you chose the conflict and defeat card. So I'm actually seeing him going down and then coming back up. So I feel like you completed like a full circuit in the lifetime that we're talking about today, this previous lifetime. It's like you descended into hell, you saw the light, you found your way back out again. So, and they're telling me something about a 3D mission. And so you went into that very 3D life, which was rigid, is the energy that I'm feeling from it, like very rigid. There was rigid thinking, rigid practices in that time period. And it was a much earlier time period is what they're showing me. 1400s, something. Yeah, it was like Middle Ages, or what is that? The Dark Ages? Some Iron Age? I can't remember I don't know the difference, but it was earlier on, like hundreds of years ago. But the reason you chose that time period was because you kind of wanted to see the denseness of human consciousness, is the vibe I'm getting from this previous lifetime. It's like you were like, let me go into like the darkest, densest part of the ocean. Let me scuba dive down there and just see what life exists, or what life is like there. But instead of in the ocean, it was in a human lifetime that was very sort of dark and rigid. And I can see that it was challenging for you, but the reason that this is a positive past life is because you managed to kind of turn things around, is what it feels like. You turned things around. You didn't succumb to that, is what I'm hearing. You didn't drown, basically. It's like you were able to go down, take a look, and then come back up. King of Nuggets. And you mastered some kind of stability in that lifetime, because what they were actually showing me was like the hem of his shirt. They were drawing my attention to that. Spirit will do that very intentionally, because there's symbolism in something, or there's an imagery, or there's a message in it. I don't really fully know why that is significant. Maybe this was like an actual type of attire that you wore, or there's something significant. It feels to me like crenellations, and I'm seeing almost like, the crenellations on the top of a turret or a tower on a castle. Yeah, and that kind of tracks with like 1400s. Okay. Anyway, so you managed to thrive in the physical world. So what does this mean? Well, basically, you worked with the resources that you had. So I'm hearing farmed. Okay. So you farmed, you worked with your hands. I'm seeing hands and knees. Yeah. So you did like a lot of very practical, very physical, hard labor, but it's like you didn't let it break you, or you thrived in that, and you expanded. I'm seeing like an expansion happening where you start with something small and then you keep sort of building out from there. The sun. Yeah, the sun was very kind to you. Like you'd plant a field of crops and it would grow in really beautifully. And then you'd be able to reinvest and plant a bigger field and then a bigger field and a bigger field. And I'm hearing the word landlord. Okay, so this may have been in like feudal times. Yeah, and you managed to become a landlord is what they're saying. Like you went from a farmer to a landlord somehow. You bought the farm is what they said, but you bought like a whole plot of land or a big acreage or something. There's something about like, and it's very rare for that to happen in that type of a lifetime. Usually people in, what is that called? Like, I'm hearing layman. I'm not sure what that's about, but it would have been really easy for you to get sort of trapped into a cycle of poverty or into a cycle of dependency or being underneath someone else's thumb. But there was some kind of neutrality that you brought to things. I don't know if it was like the mindset that you had. It's kind of what it feels like to me intuitively. It's like you had this mindset of like, I'm just going to do what I can with what I have. And I'm not going to blame the circumstances or the environment. I'm not going to get angry about what I don't have or at other people. I'm literally just going to focus on what I can do. And it was this very neutral, like it wasn't negative, it wasn't positive. It was just very neutral. Like, okay, I'm just going to get up. I'm going to go put my hands in the dirt today. That's what I do. It was just like full acceptance. That's kind of the vibe I get. And then from that, there was actually a lot of like positive manifestation because there was no resistance. That's what they're telling me. There was no resistance. Now you have the 8 of lightnings. That's the 8 of swords in this deck. I feel like a lot of people in that time period were really stuck in this mindset loop of there's no way out. It was like forced labor, felt like slavery, or maybe it actually was in some way. But there's something about like you just, again, you had this neutrality of mind, so you didn't let that stop you. 3 of blossoms. I feel like you had a really humble life. Like you weren't necessarily ambitious. If you did level up in that way, or if you did step into a higher position of power, it wasn't because you necessarily were like striving for that. It was just kind of a result of the effort that you put in on a daily basis or the results that you got from that neutrality. But I feel like you had a very satisfying, if humble life. Like you were happy with it. That's the vibe I get. You had a warm fire on your hearth, you know, they're actually showing, and I'm feeling the sensation of like having bare feet on this stone floor that's warmed by the fire. And so you like to like go up and put your feet, your bare feet on top of the stone that was warmed by the fire in the hearth at the end of a day. And you'd have like they're showing me like a wooden mug of ale, I guess, some kind of beer or mead or something. And it was like those small sensory satisfactions. I feel like this was a very grounded life, like very grounded, where you felt connected to the physicality of things in a positive way. The star card and that cornucopia was actually the first thing I saw when I turned the card over. The cornucopia, it's like your harvest was really good in that lifetime over and over and over again. Your harvest was good and you were very satisfied with that. So you really managed to, I'm hearing the word abate, so like stop and also avoid a lot of different conflicts or defeats simply because you had hope. And it wasn't that you had like this blind faith or hope or anything like that. It was more just, again, it's like neutrality. And it's interesting to tune into because, you know, normally we think about neutrality as not really having or being in the same sort of context as hope or faith. But I guess it was because you were just like, whatever, whatever my circumstances are, I'm going to find something I like about it. That's just how it is. It was, yeah. It was just very, like, you had a good head on your shoulders, very practical, very down to earth, very realistic, but humble. That's the vibe I get. And we have reversal, the Hanged Man. I feel like you were really reliable. That has nothing to do with the Hanged Man energy, but I just got this message about reliability. Like, people could rely on you. You could rely on yourself. Your circumstances were pretty reliable. It's just like things were the way that you liked them. There wasn't a whole lot of change in this lifetime. Things stayed, like, you did expand, but they stayed really stable throughout the lifetime. And there were some circumstances that they're showing me that could have upset that. There were some circumstances. There were a few years where the crops were bad, they're showing me. There was a storm that wiped out a lot of the crops in the surrounding fields, and you had to like work overtime to help people to recover from that. So not only did you have to kind of rehabilitate your own farm, but you also helped your surrounding farm, your neighbors and stuff. It was like a community, but it feels very stable. It was like, we're all in this together. And when you stepped into this role of being in land ownership, things changed a little bit, and there was a little bit of conflict that they're showing me, but you overcame it through like this, I don't know, just you didn't change really. Like you didn't get a big head on your shoulders or start lording around, literally, the pun intended, because again, this just comes out of my mouth when I'm channeling, but that's how it was. It was like Lord and the tenants or whatever, but you didn't lord around. You didn't get an ego about it. You're, again, very humble, very grassroots, just like, yeah, if you guys need help, I'll help you. And I'll help you to get out of debt, or I'll help you to do whatever, it was like, it was more of like a mutual thing. The master. Yeah, like you stepped into this master role, but you were not doing it out of pride or greed or anything like that. It was like, I have to do this. So there's something that happened that maybe if a different landlord came in and took that role, it would have been really bad. Like maybe they would have been bad at what their job was and created more havoc in the community. But it's like you stepped into this role out of more like, not obligation, but like just understanding that if you took the role, then it would be more fair, kind of thing. And that's what you wanted for everyone. Two of Lightnings. Yeah, you really favored balance is what I'm hearing. You favored balance. And so that's a funny term because favor implies like one thing is better than the other. But like this lifetime was just interesting because you were very neutral. Transformation. Okay, that one really wanted to come out. Six of Nuggets. Yeah, there was mutual and equal reciprocal exchange. So you, like, things needed to be equal or equitable or fair in some way, and practically so. And so I'm hearing you were always willing to help a hand, like lend a helping hand. You were always there for people when something happened, if somebody lost a child, because I'm seeing like, like the times were hard back then. And that's why I just get this feeling that this was a really positive life for you because you found the small pleasures in dark times and you thrived in an environment that could have been very hostile. And you helped other people to do the same as well. Like you were very like it feels like you were this protective sort of field or shield around this community of, like there's several farms that I'm like upwards of 10 farms that were on this massive plot of land, and you protected everybody. The Eight of Rods, the castle could be significant. Something about a castle could be significant because I was getting that with the crenellations, and now we have this castle in this card. So you didn't live in the castle. No, they're showing me that you had like a little farmstead of your own out on the land, but you went into the castle and you conversed with the lords or the other. What's the difference between a laird and a lord? Because they're showing me laird and they're also showing me lord. They're telling me you conversed with the lords. So I don't think you were a lord, you were a laird, which I think is more like, or is that the same thing? I don't know. But basically, you were the go-between and you protected people. So This was a positive life because you lived peacefully, humbly, fairly successfully. Actually, I would go as far to say very successfully. You thrived in your physical needs being met. You helped protect other people who were under your care or in your guardianship. And you harvested a lot from this lifetime, both physically and also non-physically in what you learned from this life, is what it feels like. Yeah, so group number 3, that's kind of the message here that I'm seeing from this previous lifetime, was that that's the life that Spirit wanted to bring to the fore. Now we're going to find out more information in the extended about why this is important for you to know, what these qualities or traits are wanting to come forth for you again now, or how you can benefit from this previous lifetime that we've talked about in this current incarnation that you're in right now. So if you're interested in joining us there, hop on over to the member side of the channel. You can join. There's a link in the description box below to join as a member, and hopefully we'll see you there. And if not, then we'll see you in the next reading. Thank you guys so much for being here. I love you, and we'll see you in the next reading.